for those who, right off the bat, there will be no update today. We are actually working on a much bigger update that requires a lot more time that we're hoping to release by the end of the year. And we are looking to release information and news on this next update in this fall.
So that was the update given at the end of the developer live stream yesterday. It was the celebration of the third anniversary or third birthday of Grounded, which released into early access in July of 2020. And while it's bad news, there's not going to be an update right now. The good news, and honestly, I'm completely surprised at the fact that they're going to be doing a massive update, it sounds like, at the end of the year. That's their plan right now. And what I wanted to do in this video is kind of talk about what I think that update could be based on what we've known from the past, from their development process, as well as what's left and could possibly be added. So things we know from the past, and lining up with the timeline here. So the fall would probably be sometime like October, November when they're going to release they're going to talk about it. And if they say the end of the year, that's about 5 months till the end of the year as of this recording. If they've been working on for a little bit of time, like a couple of months at this point, that would line up with the schedule they've talked about in the past, where they said it took them approximately 6 months to work on the bigger biomes. They mentioned that I believe the koi pond took 6 months, and I think they may have said the undershed might have took around that time. But basically, it takes them around 6 months to work on a huge biome. And the timing of this would make it where a new biome is going to be added. So what biome could it possibly be? Now, there's 3 areas that I think are possible to happen. I think one's the most likely. The second one I'm going to talk about is a little bit less likely. And a third I think is really far-fetched because it's kind of been put off to this point. So the most likely biome that will be updated will be the shed. I believe they were possibly working on the shed for 1.0 and they just didn't get it in there. I mean, it is kind of interesting that you go under the shed, but they have this giant shed there and you can't go inside of it. So if they populated the shed, I'm sure that would take 6 months because that shed is massive, especially if they made the entire inside of it where you could explore it. They have air, like it would have a lot of verticality to it, so you could go up really high up into the shed and stuff like that. So I think that's the most likely biome that would be added. It would fit in. They wouldn't have to like add on to the current map or anything like that. The second most likely, and I think this is like a lot less likely, would be going under the deck for the house. So the deck or on the deck. The deck is sitting there. It's been there since the beginning, and there's really nothing on it. I don't even think there's anything on it, honestly. You can go up there, and there's the little sign that says "Don't walk" because it's wet or something like that, or something along those lines, or some danger sign or whatever. But besides that, there's really nothing up there. That's a huge area that you could go explore on top of or go underneath of. They could put some new bugs underneath of there. So I think that's the second most likely, but I'm still leaning towards the shed as being the most likely. And then the third, which I think has like an infinitesimally small chance of happening, it's the one that probably most of you would like to see, would be going inside of the house. Everyone since this game has come out has said, when are we going to go in the house? When are we going to go in the house? It follows along with the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is what the game is loosely based upon, where the kids are shrunk in the backyard. They're shrunk, they end up in the backyard, then they get back into the house. So going to the house, I think, is something a lot of people like to see. The developers have said time and time again that's not going to happen. So I wouldn't count on that happening. I'd love to see it because it would be cool just to go inside the house. Although I think that would be a massive undertaking. That would probably take far more than 6 months unless it was like just going into one room. So in order of priority of what I think, or in order of like what I think is the highest likelihood, is going to be the shed would be the biome they're going to be working on, possibly the deck going on top of or underneath of it. And then the house, I think, is at the bottom end of it. Now, what I think is most likely going to happen is no matter what content they add, it's probably going to be optional side content. Otherwise, they'd have to completely change the story. Everything that's been added post 1.0 has been optional stuff. So they've added some bosses, they've added some new gear and stuff like that, some new mutations. You can complete the entire game without doing any of that stuff. So I think at this point, unless they want to completely rework the entire game, I think no matter what they add is probably going to be optional side content. So let's say, for example, you go inside the shed. That'll probably be an area maybe you're pointed to by Burgle or something like that. Maybe it gives you some quests. Maybe they add a new Burgle chip that adds some new items that were not put into the game. Perhaps there's going to be, obviously, if they add a new biome, I would guarantee there's going to be at least 1 or 2 or 3 new enemies. They'll probably put a boss inside of there. In addition to that, I think they would add some, like a quest to go along with it. So just, of course, the standard things like adding some new scabbies, scattering raw science around it. Maybe put another mixer or something inside there. They could do something like that, although I don't think that's as likely. But I think those are the things that would go along with adding the new biome. Now, what I'd like to see, personally, what I would like to see, and honestly, selfishly for me, what I would like to see is them not even add a new biome. It would be to completely rework the story. And the reason for that is I'd like them to tie in everything that's in the game and have some optional stuff, but have basically most of the upper yard be where you have to explore it. And the reason I say that is it would give me a reason to go back and replay through the whole game. Because I mean, I'm looking for, like, I love the game. Obviously, I played a lot of it. I know I've criticized some of the design choices for it in the past. And some of you may think that I hate the game. I certainly don't hate the game. I have over 1,000 hours in it. I've made hundreds of videos on it. I played through the game multiple times. I played it with my kids. I like the game, and I'd love to be able to go back and play through it again. But as the game currently stands right now, if I boot the game up, I'm going to be able to go. I know exactly where to go. I was just watching someone stream it. Shroud was streaming it on Twitch. He had like over 10K viewers streaming, which is hopefully will bring some more new people to the game. And just watching somebody play it for the first time and have absolutely no idea what they're supposed to be doing. He was playing with 2 friends. They completely ignored all the quests. I think they did the oak tree stuff like that, but they played for a while before they even did the mysterious machine. They're building a base and everything like that. They, from what I saw after, I don't know how many hours, maybe 10 or 15 hours, they had only done like one of the labs or something like that. And just seeing somebody be able to find everything for the first time and just experience everything for the first time, I'd like to get that feeling back again. I know that's never going to happen because I already know too much about the game. I'm sure you all are in the same position as I am. But if they did something where they reworked the story and loading up into it, even if the new area was incorporated into that, where you actually had to go do that and not have it just be this kind of cookie cutter structure where it's like, I know exactly I need to go here, then I need to go here, then I need to go here. I know where everything's located. So I'd like to see them possibly rework how the game works in general, maybe tie the story to the other labs that that were just optional stuff, make the upper yard like not 100% mandatory, but make it more mandatory, perhaps tie some of the bosses into the game that are optional, make them required to beat the game or to progress through it, and just have a couple of optional side bosses. I think that would be good for the long-term health of the game, because the best thing you can do is just have more content for people to do and have just to bring people back to it. In any case, I think this update is probably going to bring people back to the game, because if it's a huge update like they're saying it is, the past couple of updates, everything after 1.0 was good. They had a lot of quality of life stuff. They added some new bosses. So for anybody who was new to the game or who hadn't played it in a while, those updates I'm sure gave you plenty of time playing the game. For people like me who had already done everything multiple times up to that point, everything that was added after 1.0 was kind of like, okay, it was cool, but I did everything in like a couple of days, couple of hours. I think I did the most recent update. I did all of it within like 5 hours or so, something like that, except for killing the infected broodmother, which took a little bit longer. But aside from that, I did everything in like 5 hours, like casually doing it. And if you just kind of speedrun it, you can do it much faster. So whatever this update is, I hope it kind of makes it where it gives people incentive to just start from the beginning of the game and work their way all the way through, rather than just booting up a save that they have 1,000 in-game days on or hundreds of hours on, and they can just blast through the new content and get it finished within just like a couple of hours. Because having the developers spend 6 months working on something and then you basically just blow through it in like a couple of hours and toss it aside again, that's not really cool. I mean, at least it wouldn't be for me if I was the one developing it. So anyway, let me know what you think the big update's going to be in the comments down below. I look forward to seeing it. I'll definitely be checking it out when it comes out, no matter what it is. Up to this point, it's July of 2023. I've only played the game maybe like 5, 6 hours, 10 hours at most for the entire year up to this point, because I've already done everything. So I'd be looking for something to jump back into in the fall or the winter, whenever it comes out. So let me know what you're most interested in seeing. Let me know if you'll be jumping back into the game. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more videos just like this.